Next question, George H says, what moment in your agency did you start to become more profitable? Till now, I've invested almost all back into the business and been working hard to gradually grow my client base, but still not making much profits. Second year into the business, would appreciate any help or ideas to get to a better place. That's a good question. Number one is increase your prices, right? So you have bigger margins. That's one of them. If you're providing good results for your clients, there's no reason that you can't. Maybe you don't go increase the prices for existing clients, but you can always raise your prices for new clients that are so raise your prices now. And when you bring on new clients, they pay a higher retainer fee, right? If you've got 2 years experience now, you should be charging a lot more now than you were 2 years ago. That's for sure. Does that make sense? So again, I've got grandfathered clients that I have not raised their retainer fee in years. And so you guys would be ashamed of me if I told you some of my clients what they're paying me, but that's because they're almost like on autopilot. I really have very little work to do other than reporting and an occasional kind of maintenance stuff. But for that, it's very inexpensive. But, I've raised my rates over the years. Also think about other services that you could add. Now, I'm not trying to add more complexity to your business. So certainly it's not that, but you can always upsell or cross-sell additional products or services to your existing clients. Think about this, guys. The hardest, most expensive client to secure is a new one. You understand? That is the most expensive kind of client to secure, is a new one, because you have to spend time, energy, and money on prospecting and going sales presentations and, your pitches and all that kind of stuff to try to land a client. Existing clients, they already know, like, and trust you. They're already paying you. So the easiest way to generate more revenue is to provide additional products or services to your existing clients. Does that make sense? So for example, if you're just doing Google Business SEO, and I'm just using that as an example, you could add other services on there, like review building, reputation building, review building services, which we just discussed or just talked about earlier in an earlier question. So that's one of them. You could add reputation building services, right? You could add, press releases or additional content services. You could do social media posts. I don't know what kind of businesses you deal with, but in the industries that I work in for my agency, which are contractors or almost exclusively tree service contractors, social media marketing does not really work for them. So it's not something I would offer, but maybe you're in an industry where you could. You could also offer PPC services, pay-per-click services, right? Or YouTube. Video marketing, you could do video SEO or video ads. I think video ads is a lot more scalable. That's another service that you can do that's very easy to manage once you learn how to set up and optimize YouTube ads. I do a lot of YouTube ads for local clients, but we call them branding campaigns. They're indirect lead generation campaigns. I just call them branding campaigns, but it's a great source of revenue. It's very easy to maintain. It's not a huge source of revenue, but it's a nice, consistent stream of additional revenue from all my clients that have added that as an add-on or purchased that as an add-on service, right? So those are all kinds of things that you can do. Raise your rates, go after, I talk about this often, but I deal with tree service contractors. That's my chosen industry for SEO services. And I'm on the lower end of the retainer scale. My average tree contractor pays me $1,000 a month. That's fairly low. The average, the industry standard for local SEOs is about $1,500 a month, average retainer. So I'm on the low end of that, $1,000 a month. But I've got a good system in place that works. It's repeatable, it's scalable because I've already done it so many times for so many years. So that's why I'm able to do that. But what I'm saying is you can, and I'm also in an industry where the contractors are like tree service companies are generally very small. They're usually like mom and pop operations. The owner is also a tree guy out there running the crews. Generally it's a one crew operation, sometimes maybe 2 or 3 crews, but they're smaller operations. So I charge less. But what I'm saying is you could always go to a bigger type of client, like bigger organizations, bigger companies that have bigger budgets. So that's another way you could do it, right? So instead of dealing with the lower kind of paying smaller operations, you could increase target, market or offer your services to bigger companies that you can charge a higher retainer fee for. And oftentimes, by the way, those bigger companies are oftentimes easier to work with than the smaller companies because they have bigger budgets. They don't SERP watch, as we call it, right? They don't contact you every time they lose their position changes in Google search, in the search results. They don't call you every time like, hey, we used to be number one, now we're number two. What's going on? The smaller, lower paying clients, they generally are the ones that require the most handholding and support, right? So just keep that in mind. There's a number of things you can do, but I would say the best thing to do is upsell or cross-sell to existing customers first. Also raise your rates going forward. It's about the best I can offer right now.